Thank you for downloading this podcast from Shannonside FM. For more, go to shannonside.ie/podcasts or search iTunes using the keyword Shannonside.
Attack him. Hands in the face. Hands up into his face.
That's Mick O'Brien, Senshido instructor. He's encouraging me to fight back as I'm being attacked. Fight back to a man who weighs 15 stone and lifts weights for fun. He has me pinned down on the ground and I am quickly running out of energy. Do I succeed? Eventually. But there's one thing I forgot to do. Scream.
Keep hitting him. Keep striking him. Use your feet. Kick him away. Keep those hands smashing into his face. Keep smashing those hands into his face. That's it. That's good stuff. Kick him off it. Get him off. Get him out of there. Quick, get up and get out of there. That's it. Good stuff.
Welcome to Senshido, a form of self-defense that stretches far beyond its description. It's a means of survival. To directly quote its founder, Richard Dimitri, it's a developed system that delves into the psychological triggers of violence, deconstructing the ego and setting a foundation for comprehensive transformation of persons and communities. I went along to one of its seminar days, instructed by Mick O'Brien, and he explains the concept in more detail.
First off, Senshido, it's quite different to a lot of other self-defense organisations or martial arts or whatever you want to call it. Senshido's first and foremost mission is to teach survival. Senshido is also about self-development, but we use self-defense as the vessel. First off, we start looking at what violence actually is, and then we start attacking violence at its roots. We have a saying, self-defense begins with the self. So this is where we start to look at ourselves and deconstructing our egos, looking at the positions that we've been in, analysing them, taking our egos out of them and re-looking at them and seeing how different the situation could have developed. 9 times out of 10 what keeps you there in this situation, investing so much energy into it, is because of your own personal ego and the fear of it being bruised. So that's what Senshido does. It starts to develop the self, deconstructing the ego. It also delves into the psychological triggers of violence, the psychological aspects, the emotional aspects, and last but not least then we look at the physical response to violence. But our main focus and our main energy is put into avoidance through awareness and intuition, and avoidance through verbal diffusion and tactical de-escalation.
So let's go back to the seminar and put this verbal diffusion into action. Now, what you're about to hear was my introduction to the class. A woman named Jackie from Navan, her task was to verbally attack me. Remember, I don't know this woman. She comes at me like a woman on a mission, and I must react by attempting to verbally diffuse the situation and, if at all possible, avoid physical contact. Okay, so Jackie is going to come and verbally attack me. Just thinking of a situation.
That's my friend's drink you have there.
Okay, calm down.
No, you're after taking it off the table, so yeah, I'm going off with it. That's my friend's drink.
My name is Jackie. Okay, Jackie, so you've been my partner for the duration of the day. You're fierce out there. How long have you been doing it?
I've been training now with Mick and Senshido since January of last year, so a year and a half now. And what started me was Mick came to my gym and did a 6-week course. So I decided, there's no harm in trying to learn how to defend yourself. So I went and did that and absolutely loved it. So I did, really loved it.
Have you ever had to use it in real life?
No, maybe the de-escalation skills, definitely. I think we've all gone through a scenario where, like that, in a pub or something where somebody wants to buy you a drink. The de-escalation is quite a good skill to have. Look at her, you're after annoying her, so yeah, that's my friend. We're out on our hen night and you're after taking her drink and just ruining her whole night.
Okay, well I can go over and apologise. Would that be okay? And I could buy her a new drink? Good. Yeah, I said, okay, calm down. Is that a bit patronising?
It is, yeah.
Yeah?
When you tell somebody to calm down, you're telling him that he's not in control of his own emotions, and what the response is you get is, calm.
Well, first lesson of the day, never tell your attacker what to do. It makes things a whole lot worse. Scenario number 2, a verbal attack can happen anywhere, not just in a pub, sometimes as simple as a clothes shop.
What the hell's your problem?
I don't have a problem.
You have a problem. You keep bumping into me. I'm here looking at this dress and you just keep standing beside me. What's your problem?
Where were you? I didn't see you.
I'm standing right here, for God's sake.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't actually.
You keep bumping into me, so you do. You just absolutely just keep bumping. I'm just trying to shop in peace and you're just annoying me.
Sorry, it was unintentional. I'll be more aware in future. I'm really, really sorry. Is there anything I can do?
Like, who the hell do you think you are?
Sounding slightly terrified there, I pulled out of character. Personally, I felt like I was talking to a wall, which reflects many situations on a day-to-day basis. Think about it. In real life, how do you leave that situation on good terms? If I feel intimidated by Jackie, how do I handle bigger opposition? Mick O'Brien explains. So we'll get into the self-defence part of it now, because I'm practicing with Jackie out there, and I'm not awfully, okay, although she's very fierce enough, I feel like, I'm comfortable with her because she's a woman. But if I was to go up against a guy 6 foot, 15 stone, is it possible? Does the size of the attacker matter?
No, you see, this is what we look at. This is what really drew me to Senshido, because what we look at, we say, if it's not going to work for an 8 stone woman, it doesn't against a 16 stone guy. It has no place in self-defence or self-protection.
What's the approach? If you're trying to break down the ego, what's the approach? How would you go about doing it?
Well, you've actually done some of it there. What we were looking at there earlier was we were looking at verbal diffusion, not giving an attacker what he wants, and not getting caught up in the moment and investing time in the moment, and feeding his ego without actually bruising it. But it means you're going to lose face yourself. So it means taking the hit on the chin. Although you're looking at a guy and you're saying, this guy is of absolutely no threat to me, I'd be well able to handle this guy. Yeah, you're not doing that. You're not giving him what he wants. You're telling him, you're apologetic to him. Listen, I'm sorry for looking at you. I honestly didn't think that I was. I didn't mean it. Let me buy you a drink. You're taking the hit in your own ego to walk away, because we understand that once it gets physical, it gets messy, and there is a big ripple effect from any physical altercation. So that's how we start to deconstruct our own egos. What we look at, we say, well, what annoys me, what antagonises me, what gets me going, what hits the right buttons for me, being totally honest with ourselves, and then trying to change that.
Okay. How do you get over the fear of intimidation? So say a man approaches me, he's about to attack me, but I freeze up.
A lot of people go into this whole fear management, and people have written books and everything on it. Fear is ever present. You will never eliminate fear. People say there's good fear, there's bad fear. Fear is fear. Fear is a tag that you put on an emotion. And our whole thing, our whole training is how to control our whole emotional state during a physical altercation. My body will jump through different emotional states throughout the entire day. They'll jump through different emotional states throughout an altercation. I'll have the fear, I'll have the anger, I'll have the rage, I'll have the intimidation. These are all just tags that we put on emotions. What is our approach to it? Well, our approach is we expose people to it to create proper mental blueprints, because this is ever present when an altercation does happen. It starts with the psychological, the eye contact, the flaring of the chest, the intimidation, moving down to the emotional state then, where you've got rage and anger all being spit towards you, yeah, and then it turns physical. And this is how we train people for it, because we expose them to it. Yeah, we do drills called emotional invocation drills and things like that to create that mental blueprint. So if it does happen to any of our students, they say, I've already trained for this, I've already been exposed to this. So it's not something new happening to the brain, and the brain starts to freeze. The brain will immediately look to the training file and say, I've already done this, I've already handled this before.
So moving on now to a physical situation. In fact, even in a verbal situation, always take the passive stance. You may look quite relaxed to your attacker, but you are ready for a fight should it present itself. The passive stance is legs slightly apart, elbows tucked in, and both hands raised at chin point, with one slightly in front of the other. That way you're ready to strike if necessary, but also ready to defend. Here's a few defence sessions that I took part in throughout the day.
Straight away get into your passive stance. Just make sure you're comfortable on your feet. If you feel like that you can't talk them down, if you feel like that there's nothing else you can do, then you strike first. Always strike first. Just one strike up to the face.
Okay, will I give it a go?
Yeah, give it a go. Okay. Palm first. So strike with the palm and bring the fingers down.
Fingers down kind of on the eyes, is it?
Yeah, as if you're going to dig into the eyes.
What would you call this now, what we're doing?
I'm going to put you in a difficult position that you have to try and get out of. So I am. Okay, so I'm going to make it as awkward for you as possible. So I'm going to put you in a headlock.
Okay.
Right, and now you have to try and get out of that now.
Okay, so I can use my elbow and knee,
Yeah, elbow straight into the groin here. Perfect.
knee into the groin, and then use my left hand to push up your head.
Okay, that would be a wasted sort of motion, okay? Closest weapon, closest target.
Okay, so back in a headlock. So knee in, fist into the nose, push you back with my left hand.
Okay, and start what we call then a shred. Get your hands into their face and start ripping in, like hurting. Start digging, clawing at their face. Dig your hand into those eyes.
So practicing everything from palm strikes to fist strikes to ghost stepping. Next, Mick and Lee demonstrate a sexual assault situation where a man attacks a woman. Mick acts as the woman while Lee is using both his hands to keep his victim pinned down on the floor.
What have we got here?
He can't do anything without disengaging.
He can't do nothing. Because I've got tactile sensitivity here. What does he need to take his trousers down? His hands. Lee is stronger than me. He's got his whole chest muscles there working against me. He's going to be much stronger than a woman. Yeah? He needs to use his hands, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The more I try to resist him, the more power he's going to put on me. Remember what we say. His face is a magnet. These hands are razor blades. Where do the razor blades want to go? Straight to the magnet. Yeah? So he's going to use his hands to, okay, open your foot. And the hand goes straight to the magnet. Yeah? Do what rapists do. Pull down your pants. The hands go straight to the magnet. Now, where are they going? Straight up into his eyes. What am I doing? Attacking the attacker. Does the rapist want this? No, try to rape the wrong person here. Three things an attacker wants. He wants your money, your possessions, last thing.
Your life.
And he wants your life. He wants to kill you. Statistic fact, women and men that fight back don't become a statistic, they become a survivor. Yeah? Regardless of what threats is made, move up the laneway or I'll cut your throat. Bottom line, I'll move up the laneway, he's gonna cut me throat. I've got to fight back and I've got to attack the attacker. That's what self-protection is, guys. Becoming a hard target, passing it from you to somebody else. It's not about saving the world. He's going to go out and attack somebody else. If somebody else, look at you people here. Yeah, you've invested your Saturday mornings in being here because we take our safety serious. But there's a lot of people out there that don't. That's who's going to get attacked next. They're becoming an easy target. You guys are a hard target.
And that's the reality of it. Don't wait for a situation to happen before you decide to take action.
People go through their whole life investing so much energy in protecting their property. They invest no time or energy or finances whatsoever into protecting themselves. Very few people out there will get up off the sofa and come down and invest time into protecting themselves. If somebody tries to do something to me, I want a system in place that I can stop it from happening.
Is it something that you can do for a couple of weeks and take it on with you then for years to come, or do you have to keep going with it?
No, you see, our whole idea is we totally understand that a lot of people can't commit to weekly training classes, and a lot of people can't commit to doing something, every single month. So regardless of who it is that walks straight in off the street, our whole thing is if they come, they train with us, when they walk outside the door, they have learned something that can stay with them for the rest of their life. If they were to be involved in some sort of physical altercation, they have a response with it. The response is simple, it was easy for them to learn, they understood it, and it will stay with them for the rest of their life. But more importantly, if their awareness is being heightened that they can avoid something, well, our job is done then, because that's what we're all about, is avoidance and awareness. We advertise it throughout Facebook, Twitter, Google+, the internet. We have a website there. The website is www.selfprotection.ie and the Facebook is Self Protection Ireland. What we normally do is we run what we call a Fundamentals of Personal Protection seminar, which is the foundation, the Senshido's core concepts. You have to complete this before you can move on to our training classes. We run the seminars every 2 or 3 months. Once people have completed the fundamentals, they can go on, they can do tool and target development, they can do the 5 principles of physical retaliation, multiple assailants, improvised weapons, armed attacks. The world is their oyster.
Thank you for downloading this podcast from Shannonside FM. For more, go to shannonside.ie/podcasts or search iTunes using the keyword Shannonside.